Hi, this is John McNamara with the American Red Cross in Richmond, Virginia. I'm at Home Depot, where we're going to help provide you with tips to help you prepare for hurricane season.
And as we saw last year, hurricanes have the potential to cause widespread power outages. And while generators can be a lifesaver after a storm, they also come with potential risks. And Spencer, walk us through a couple of tips that can help keep people safe while using a generator.
Well, number one, we want to make sure that we have this thing located in the right spot. We do not want to be inside enclosed garages, inside the house, where you're going to have carbon monoxide buildup. That's the biggest thing there. Tip two is going to be that we have the right size cords for these. What we're powering up has the right size cord. We don't have a bunch of adapters where we're going to have connections that get loose, spark, cause fires. We don't want a fire hazard to what we have plugged in. And the third thing is making sure we don't overload the generator itself. We want to make sure that we don't oversee the wattage on here. So a good game plan is getting up what you want to have in a hurricane or natural disaster, adding up your amperage and making sure that we are not over exceeding what the generator can do.
We're providing you with some tips to help keep your generator running well. And Gil, just walk us through a couple of tips to keep this running in tip-top shape.
Well, the first thing I would do is, and I always do, is you always start your generator at least once a month. You want to keep it running, test it with a load on it, to make sure that it is performing properly before the storm. You do that every month, and because it has gas in it. To do that as well, you also make sure that you have a good stabilizer to keep the gas fresh at all times. Second tip would be, always keep an extra 5 gallons of gas on hand. First off, once there's a storm, gas can sometimes be a little bit iffy on getting and finding. So you want to make sure that you always have gas on hand for the emergency that takes place.
Great.
And third, what I also recommend is, you always want to make sure that you change the oil in your generator. After about 40 hours of runtime, you will go in and change the oil. You have to realize they're running constantly. You will need to change it just like you would a car. Make sure that you keep it, oil changed at least every 40 hours, and continue running properly for you.
One thing we saw last year with Hurricane Irene is power outages can wreak havoc on the food that you have in your refrigerator. So Gil, walk us through a couple of tips to help prepare for the storm.
Prior to the storm, you would want to go ahead and turn your temperatures down as cold as you can get. You want to prepare your refrigerator in case of a power outage. I also like to take containers, fill them with water, put them in your freezer. That will help make it last longer. If you have to use a cooler, you'll have blocks of ice, because ice can be another one of those things that disappears really quickly if you have no power. The other thing is, don't open the doors unless you actually have to. Once you open the door, you're going to let all the cold air out.
And these tips are going to keep your food in your freezer and refrigerator safe for a little bit longer. So thanks for the good tips, Gil.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. You might ask, why are we standing in front of a grill talking about hurricane preparedness? Gil's going to tell us why.
Well, grills are great. If you have no power, you're going to need to prepare your food. A grill is an excellent option, so you can not only grill food, but you can actually boil water, so that you always have your coffee. As you said, keep your spirits up during the storm, during and after the storm.
That's great, and I noticed you have a propane tank here as well. Talk about a little about what to keep in mind there.
Always keep an extra propane tank on handy, because after the storm, you're going to have limited access to certain items. Propane is one of the things that goes very quickly.
Great tips, and it's also good for those summer barbecues. And as we saw last year with Hurricane Irene, these storms can leave quite the path of destruction. So walk us through some items that you have here that can help you start the recovery process.
Sure, John. One thing that you always want to have on hand, a good pair of work gloves. Great for before the storm, making sure that you're securing everything down properly, and keep your hands safe. Second, some good contractor cleanup bags. Let's face it, it's going to leave a lot of debris. They can be used for debris outside, but also debris inside. That's great. You also want to have, we have good, nice coveralls that you can wear. Debris and everything can, tear up your clothes. So get a nice pair of coveralls.
And these are important too, because you don't know what necessarily is going to be in some of this debris as well.
Right, that's correct. I mean, with these storms, debris travels, and people don't realize that. A good respirator mask. If you're cleaning up dust and dirt and everything, don't inhale all of that into your lungs. Always have a good tarp on hand. We use to pick up debris with, but if you have an opening in your home, you want to secure your home with the roof everything like that, you can cover up with a tarp.
That's great. And I know by no means this is not the full list of supplies you need to clean up your house. I know you have a squeegee over here. We also want to
a lot of times you can, you may have water in a basement. You're going to need to, or in your house, you're going to need to squeegee it out. So always use a good squeegee to help push that water and debris out.
Okay, great. Thanks, Phil. And Spencer, walk us through some of the items you might want to keep around your house in advance of a storm.
One things we want to have on hand: batteries for any flashlights, lantern, something that we can have when the power goes out. Even if you have a generator, you may not be able to get to it right away in the storm, so this will have you up and running until you get to that process. First aid kit, bandages, antiseptic wipes, band-aids, anything that kind of help out minor scrapes and scratches. Emergency weather radio, battery operated, so you can keep track of what's going on with the storms and any local alerts they have out there for you.
You have a multi-purpose toolkit?
Multi-purpose toolkit to help you fix any little repairs that are needed during the storm or after the storm.
And then something might not think about, the fire safe box.
Exactly, a fire safety box here. It's water resistant, fire resistant, so a lot of valuables as far as cash if you can't get to ATMs, insurance documents, birth certificates, extra sets of keys, anything that you need to have on hand and safe that can help the process easier.
That's great. And a lot of these items not only great for hurricane season, but great for all year round. You never know when disasters are going to strike. So thanks again, Spencer. And for the full list of tips and steps to keep you safe in advance of a storm, visit redcross.org or continue to follow us on Twitter at RedCrossRVA.